Welcome to Impact. This is Philip Morris, CEO of Proctors, and your interviewer today. Our segment today includes a return engagement by Maggie Mancinelli-Cahill, Artistic Director of Capitol Repertory. Hey, Maggie.
Hey, how
Now
you doing?
you're our first return engagement.
Oh, I'm honored. I'm thrilled. Thank
Look,
you.
there's so much good going on at CapRep's art scene, and you know it's about impact. So, Huldah, our producer, said, "Got to bring her back."
I love her.
Oh, yeah, she does a good job. So, what's new at CapRep?
What's new is exactly that. We're doing a lot of new work. And I really think it's because of the partnership that we have with Proctors that we've been able to free up our artistic budgets so that we could do new work, and we are doing it in a big way. We're doing a play festival in November with Proctors as our partner. We're doing a new version of Pride and Prejudice called Pride at Prejudice this fall to kick off our season. And we're doing a world premiere musical that we've been working on, together with you. We started going to read-throughs in New York City. I think we've been working on that for almost 2 years, called Single Girl's Guide, and we're doing the world premiere of it in the spring.
So let's get kind of specific.
Yeah.
Pride at Prejudice? What the heck's that?
Pride at Prejudice. Well, I love classics. I cut my teeth on them. I love them. It's what really got me into the theater, was really reading great books, and when I found out you could put great books on stage, I love that. But I also like it to have a little bit of a kink, a little bit of a wrinkle, and this version uses all the bloggers and tweeters and commentators on the web about Jane Austen and merges that into the text. So, in the middle of a scene right out of the book, you'll have somebody stop and give us a tweet about, hey, did you know this about Jane Austen? Or, hey, how much is Mr. Darcy really worth in today's terms? And they talk about that on their smartphones. So it's a really wonderful way to engage people with great literature and our world, and kind of the new way we read anything, which is,
So would you call it an adaptation? How would you
Oh yeah,
describe
I do.
it?
I do.
Or is it enough to be new, or actually be new?
Well, there's a lot of Austen in it, because the Austen is Austen. When they do the book, when they're doing the characters from the book, they really are doing Jane Austen's words. But it's the envelope around it, it's the bonus material, that we're so familiar with that on DVDs and you can't get away from it, or on cable, you click here for more information, and you go to one of the info things. This is a way of duplicating that experience. So I would consider it an adaptation because of the Austen element, but it is that.
It's so interesting, the whole blogging and texting thing, because I find myself, and I don't watch television, but when I do watch something, a debate, I'm on phone connecting to see what people are saying. You watch the presidential speech, and I'm watching the speech, and I'm texting and listening.
I know. I'm texting somebody going, "Are you listening to this?"
Right, exactly.
And that's the kind of. And I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I know you don't watch television. But when you get a DVD, you can listen to the director's commentary as you watch the movie.
Right.
I mean, it's a modern way of dealing with text and classic literature that I just think it has a very modern feel. I think for anybody who has to read this in a class or is reading in a book club, or will get a real kick out of this adaptation. It's vibrant and very fresh.
So tell us a little bit, in the weeds, we're going to stay here, about our new musical.
Oh, well, I'm very excited.
How did it happen? How did you end up getting a world premiere?
Well, Gordon Greenberg, who has worked at the theater on a variety of projects, first years ago said to me, would you be interested in doing a musical that will have Neil Sedaka's music in it? And I said, well, everybody knows Neil Sedaka won't give his music to anybody. And he actually said he'll give it to me. And he developed Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, and he brought it to the theater. And it was one of those wonderful moments when, we really needed a big hit. He brought it to us. We did it in the summer. Neil Sedaka came. It was just a wonderful thing. And Gordon went on and has directed book musicals for us, Song of Singapore. He directed Jacques Brel's Alive and Well, Living in Paris. That went on and had a 1.5-year run in New York City at the Zipper after he did it for us. So when Gordon came to me and said, I have this musical, it's literate, and so therefore I think you would like it. And so of course that suckered me right in, right? And then he goes, of course we're doing it in the 1960s and it has nothing to do with the literature it's based on. And I said, better yet, it's great. So he started working on it with Tommy Newman, who is a composer he has done another show with. And they sent me, oh my gosh, they were sending me a draft every day. I felt like, they would send me one and then, don't read that one, read this, don't read that one, read this one. And they did a lot of reworking and rewriting, and they were very enthusiastic. And finally, they wanted to do a reading in New York. And thank goodness, I have a great, great partner. His name is Philip Morris. And he said, okay, we'll pay for it. I said, hallelujah. That's the words that every artistic director really wants to hear. Somebody will pay for it. And so we went to New York. You came with me. We saw it. We had comments. It was a real creative venture.
Some of our board members were there.
Yeah, and these guys really wanted to hear what we said. From there, they were accepted into a very prestigious ASCAP workshop with Stephen Schwartz, and they got more input. And then from there, they were accepted into Goodspeed, the Goodspeed Opera over in Connecticut, where they were allowed to do another workshop that I attended. And Richard from our marketing department came, and it has been one of these processes by step. But it all started because Gordon said, I want to premiere it at Capitol Rep. I think it's really right for you because, but did I say it was based on Jane Austen's Emma?
Oh, and did you say what the
That's
title
how
was?
A Single Girl's Guide. Emma, the terrible matchmaker in Jane Austen, is a newspaper columnist who decides to give advice to young women. And she's terrible at it, but she learns about love, and she does it in a very 1960s kind of way. So it's great. It's very creative. I doubt if anybody will really notice that it's based on Emma. And I like that too.
I thought it was. I haven't seen the last version. I know it's changed again.
But it has all of the elements.
Oh yeah, the story's there.
The hero is Mr. Knightley, who is the editor of the paper, and her father just wants her to get married to a nice guy, and she doesn't want that.
You know what? I didn't tell you this before, but the second time I saw it, it was I had this sense of the play in New York Now, the musical, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. The flavor of it, I could picture the 60s flavor of it, just like the 60s flavor of Succeed in Business.
You're right about that. You're right about that. Only this time a woman runs it.
Exactly.
So I like that.
Now, how are we going to get new stuff for the future?
That's where it comes to Next Act. And Next Act is what we're calling a play summit, a new play summit, because we want to read new plays. We're going to be reading a new musical, and we want to have events around those things that illuminate the play development process. So we had a call for submissions for plays, and here are the limits. The plays could be on any topic. We'd prefer anything about the modern world, politics, technology, because we think that's a special thing for up here. And you couldn't have more than 7 actors. We received 120 submissions,
wow,
which we read every single one of them. We had 2 groups of readers, and I am thrilled to say this to you. The 2 that rose to the top by everyone. I mean, it was really very remarkable.
That's great.
So that was the process that we used. The musical, I only looked at things that had been submitted to me that people I knew that wanted to work on that. It's much more complicated, and we felt the first time out we would look at some of the things that we've been interested in developing and take them into that process.
And then in addition, you're doing 15-minute
the thing is that the top 6 plays were knockouts. I mean, we really liked so many of the plays, so we decided, why not show people how literary managers are? You know, literary managers are the original people that have ADD. I mean, they only read the first 15 pages, if you're lucky, of your script. And then they will tell you if they're willing to read the rest of the play. So we're going to perform the first 15 minutes of the top 6 plays and ask people who are there, do you want to, would you ask, do you want to see the rest? And we feel like it will be a way of engaging people in what makes a play important. How important are those 15 minutes? What if the really brilliant part was on page 16? You know, what would you do? And so we feel like it's a way for us to open up our process and talk about what makes a play.
There's a fabulous children's book that, if I recall, I will bring to you. That's incredible illustrations with the opening paragraph of what's going on.
Oh.
And that's all. And it's incredible. So
I love that.
There was a carpet with this thing clearly moving underneath the carpet, and then some kind of statement about, you know, Martha was sitting in her dining room, unaware that, and that was all.
Love it.
It was just great.
And that's the kind of, you know, that's the kind of thing, it's kind of a tickler. And it also makes you realize we have very short attention spans right now. And your first 15 minutes, whether it's your first impression you're making when you walk into a room, whether it's your term paper, whether it's the development pitch that you're making to somebody, it still really matters. It really matters more, I think, now than at any other time.
Well, that's why we don't do more than 15 minutes on
Thank goodness, because I have nothing else to say. Yeah, really.
Though, our goal is that this enterprise with first act, with the next act, is what creates the new works for the year after.
Oh yeah, we're serious. The 2 plays that came to the top in next act, we hope to see those produced. I mean, we're waiting to see the reaction, the response, of course, to our audiences, but we're serious about it, and we let our playwrights know that, and that we weren't just doing it to do readings of plays. You know, we're in the business of ensuring that we bring excitement and stimulation to the American canon of theater work. And I think through doing a musical and through doing, a dramatic play, that we're doing it. You know what we should also say, Philip, before we do this, is that this couldn't happen without a legacy gift that came through one of your donors. I think it's really important just to say that this kind of thing is made possible. Right.
Who was committed to new work, and
right.
We're going to have professionally done new work because of Samson Ullman.
And, you know, it's important that people know it matters. Art matters, and it matters when you support it.
All right, Maggie, now I'm going to test your memory.
Okay.
We got 3 cool new things happening. When are they?
Well, Pride at Prejudice starts previews on September 28th, and the show runs through October 28th. And next act is November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And Single Girls Guide opens on March 3rd.
I am impressed as hell.
Thank you. Now let's go.
Good work, babe.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us in Impact. Our guest is Maggie Mancinelli-Cahill, Artistic Director of Capitol Repertory Theater. Proctors, bringing the best in arts, education, and entertainment.